Hey, hi everyone, and welcome to one more session of the Out of the Box Developer. We're here with our awesome team, even with one special participation there on Hugo's lab. Hi, Hugo, how you doing?
Hey, Igor. Hello, everyone. Yes, today we're gonna have a challenging live session because I will have Kyo with me, and if he starts crying, I will need to give support. But yeah, let's see how it works. I hope
Yeah,
everything will well as well, and yeah.
it will work awesomely. Yeah, we can have AI to babysit. It will
Oh,
help
that would be
you.
awesome. A robot, right? That
Yeah,
can put
one
babies to sleep.
Yeah, China did those kung fu robots. They can do a babysitting robot as well, or the
Yeah,
Tesla ones. They will be in the
might
market
be
soon.
amazing. Might be
So,
amazing.
guys, today we're going to talk about a very hot topic about spec-driven development, and that's I would say not the future, but the present of software development. But first, let's go through our awesome team. Hugo has already spoken with us right now, and about you, Tila, how you're doing?
I am fine, thank you. And good evening, everyone who is watching us today, who is with us today. So I'm looking forward to this topic. It is going to be very interesting because a few weeks ago I was at a JAG session with Simon Martinelli presented this topic. So that's why it even more raised my interest in this topic. So looking forward
Absolutely.
to the session.
Me too, and that's very curious because I was exactly looking for that specific topic, reading some articles about that, and it's awesome that we have this subject today. And about you, Tiago, how you're doing, man?
Hello everyone. I'm great, and I think this is a very important subject nowadays, so very excited to hear more about it.
Absolutely, it will be an awesome session that I believe that any software engineer needs to be aware of in these days. And our everywhere guy here, Luis Real. How you doing, man? From where are you
Hello,
talking with us now?
hello everyone. I'm in São Paulo right now, but I was in Buenos Aires till yesterday, and yeah, I'm looking forward for this topic because I'm hearing a lot about spec-driven development and how it's becoming essential in the age of the AI-assisted coding. So yeah, I want to learn a lot from Hugo today.
Yeah, me too. I want to learn from everyone, even Hugo's baby. If the baby has something to teach us, well, let's learn. And also our AI guy here, Pedro. How you doing, man? Nice to see you.
Hello, nice to see everybody. Yeah, this topic is very, very important. Well, I can say that if last year was the year of vibe coding, this year will be the year of spec-driven development because this will be when AI will get to us all inside the companies, not only uh, people who is trying to do some demos in the internet.
Yeah, and what you just mentioned is extremely important and relevant. Last year was the vibe coding year, and this year is the spec driven development year. Wow, great, great. Looking forward to that. But let's just say hello to Samuel that is here in the chat. Hey Samuel, how you doing? And everyone that is watching us, just let us know in the comments below. So, spec driven development, from where we can start touching on that subject. Uh, as far as I understand, it's the age on how things change. You move from coders define to do. Yes, you could maybe tell us some words, please.
Okay. He does. How do I say? He got nervous when I laugh. So, but yeah, I think a great start point is an article from Martin Fowler. I know he's not the first one that shared it. Actually, it's not Martin Fowler. It's Britta Buckler article, and it's posted on Martin Fowler's blog. I will share the link here, and
Mm,
maybe it's a great place to start. I will share my screen as well. Let's see here, window, you
exploring.
here, okay. And let me do a zoom in. Single-handed, okay. I hope you can see at least the text here. It is
Yeah.
understanding spec-driven development. It does assess 3 different tools. And besides the tools, actually, more than the tools, I think the interesting part is the definition, right? When we talk about spec-driven development, what it actually means, it is, as the name says, it is the development driven by the specification instead of, as we see with TDD, the test-driven development, or BDD, the behavior-driven development. Um, it is a bit different because with these all those AI, generative AI capabilities and understanding the language, what we actually in natural language we do write, we can actually start creating code just from the specs. When I have a specification, I can ask the AI to, okay, I have the code. Now help me. Oh, I have the specification. What I need. What is the goal? What is the feature? What is the acceptance test? Everything in the specification, and then you can turn it into code. And there are 3 variations at least from this article. And I pretty believe there is maybe more variations, but the most well known is those spec first, spec anchored, and spec as source type of work, right? So the first one is you just write the spec, and then you ask the AI to write to help you writing the code, and every fixes you do, you can fix on the resulting code, and then you can fix bugs, anything on the code that was generated. The second one, spec anchored, is when you anchor the code with the specification. So every time you do need to make any changes, you do the changes on the you keep the specification on your code base, and you do the changes on the specification, and then you can ask AI to update, or but also you can also do your manual updates. And the most, I think, and how can I say it? Most strong or strong higher usage of spec-driven development is when you do it as spec as source. It is you manage everything in your code from your spec. So you don't actually do changes on your code. Any change that you do under your specification and ask AI to generate it. I think it's a great start to start discussing here. I was supposed to bring a more formatted, structured presentation, but I will bring the I will borrow the images from the site itself, directly from the site. Uh,
Yeah.
the very I think the very first thing is at least for me, is the first one, the spec first, is very natural for any developers to getting started. And okay, I write the specification and I use it to help me write the code. And the second one also still fine. Instead of every changes I do have to write a new specification. I do update the specification and then as to update the code. That's fine. But the third one is for me is quite heavy requirements. It's just everything you manage over the specification, the documents, and then I think at least for me it's still not. I haven't tried on this. I think it's still strong requirements to follow. I don't know if you. I know many of you probably have started with some of those, and yeah, I want to hear a bit. And if you are watching us and you're already using some kind of this variation or any other variation, I think it's interesting to share. In my very experience, the second and first, it's a I do mix of second and first
Yeah.
for my daily routine.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been playing mostly with the first, a little bit more with the second when I was getting more in touch with that. I've seen that third level you mentioned. I believe it's very, very, very specific. It's almost, I don't want to touch code, just put AI to do it all. That I'm not sure how it behaves. Maybe the models are evolving so much that it can get so more of the context and do the changes very specifically. But I agree with you. You go mostly with the first and the second. That's where I am as well. And also, just to mention, on top of that, spec driven development is the biggest enemy of the go horse projects, right? Because you need to have everything specified before. You're not just let me just start in doing something other, change this, change that, and the other and the other. Are you sure your tokens are gonna end? So it's a great start if you just say you're going to work on this specification before, but what I want, I don't know what I want, but let's just start before, but I want to show something to my boss. No, let's work on the specification first. Great step to avoid go horse. Just a funny comment here.
Great insight. I want to hear. If, I don't know, Pedro. Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear more from you.
Yeah, this is an interesting insight, but because well, one of my last features that I'm working here, uh, I had here. Okay, again, here we are mostly using the first, right? Like we write the spec first, and then we write the code. And some people is using more like all AI generated, but most everybody is trying to get the AI generated to get to be 100%, but of course it's never is 100%, right? But it's kinda okay. It's getting there, uh, even if we spec first, right? But the point, but I think my point is to have this to create the spec. We are still using AI, right? So
Yeah.
uh, AI is not just to generate the code. AI is to generate the spec as well. So for in our case, we have like a running product, right? And we have to create a new feature in this product. So we create a spec, right? And then when we create this spec, have we use the AI to understand how things are working inside the product and write down everything you want to do, and then it's your time. You go and read that and see if it's if you like it, if you enjoy it, if we think it's a good solution. If it's not, we can just discuss, okay, what do you think about that solution, other solution, right? And then we can get to a spec that you could say, okay, now go for it, right? Write down this the entire code here, right? But what I see is that it's so when we write a spec like this, you have you could ended up with thousands of line of code, even for one feature, right? Like one new feature for a specific new a product that already exists can get thousands of line of code with one spec, you know. So and
Cool.
then we're gonna have another kind of bottlenecks like code reviews, quality, and all this kind of stuff that has after the code, you know. Uh, that's what happened to us. But I couldn't imagine using it. The third way would be look like to me like we had before MDD. I don't know if you all remember, like
Hmm.
model driven development.
Yep.
Remember that when we
Uh-huh.
modeling use just modeling and then the code was generated behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but using AI now. Well, yeah, at that time it was just generating Java code. I remember I remember using one that generated Java, but now I never seen people using AI this way. It would be good if anybody has any other example of that because I've never seen like this. But yeah, that's what we've been doing.
I believe it's the business guy's dream, right? I just want to write here a change and just change it. Maybe it's a
Aha.
concept, no?
Well, yeah, I think it's the great automation moment when you do only write the specification, everything works. The changes works automated. I also haven't seen it working yet. Been watching it working. I know there's a lot of people that already uh, uh, do vibe coding, for example, and they don't see anything about the code. They just has to generate. And I know Lovable and many other those low level tools. They are already delivering lots of products that actually works. I saw a lot of Lovable instances people using, and actually very interestingly they are doing lots of tools to have the profile of the applications they already run. So they just extract the data, and it's more a informational system, and it's very interesting seeing everything working seamless and all generated. But yeah, I think there are levels and level of products that you can run on this full automated way, and others that probably still need someone to be watching after. Uh, that's a question I don't I probably would wait to watch to see what happens in the future. Very risky to answer anything this level. Um, I I also regarding to the Igor's comment about the being the anti extreme programming. I really agree with you because every time I try to do something more extreme programming, like oh let me prepare something and I just have to some minutes to prepare it, I wouldn't went to specification first and then go code. I just go coding and blah, 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 generate and see what happens, and it works okay. I can showcase it. Then after that, like POC, proof of concept. I do a lot of proof of concept these days, so yeah, that's totally fine on that. And it doesn't work very well if you want to do spec driven on this life cycle, on this development cycle, because it's yeah, you have to stop, think, right, and not. And as Pedro said, we do ask AI to write, but we have to at least have the core ideas to make it done. But very interesting point. I live with this in reality. Every time proof of concept that I need to do something very fast, very quick, uh, spec-driven development feels a slower to do things. But of course, if you say about let's create some application, have time, and we have to be more careful about the deliveries we do. That that is the way. I think it's the answer of vibe coding for enterprise, right? Like we have been saying some sessions ago with Pedro. That is more organized. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Because I want to go through the. I think the concept gets it's clearer maybe. Yeah. Go ahead, Pedro.
Yeah, we have a question here
Yeah,
from.
let's just say hello to the guys and then we can go through the questions.
Mhm.
Hi Victor, thanks for joining us, and hi Bruno. We have Java
Oh,
Man
Bruno,
here.
watching
Uh,
us.
yeah, and he also sent us a question here. When you talk about specification, is this only specification what needs to be built, or does this have anything to do with a standard specification like Java, Web, and other specs?
Oh, cool question. And yeah, it's more regarding to what needs to be built. It is about the project that you're building. So you start specifying what it needs to be done, the features. Sometimes people use the user story to say to explain to AI what they need to do, and then use the AI to generate the whole project code or part of that. Um, Regarding to specifications, standard specifications, we do things similar. I think it's to mention which specification, which kind of tools, which stack you are using behind. For example, I will try to showcase the example here. When I built a Java project, I always specify the stack. Oh, Java 21 plus, and if I do use some integration with the models, I do usually use the LangChain for J. I use Spring Boot for web applications. Sometimes I use Quarkus, depend on the POC I'm running here. Yeah. So this in this at this moment, it's very useful to know what is the tools that you're using, which specification they use that you want to use for your project.
Great. Do you want to show us something about that? You go. But
Yeah,
Pedro has a
but Pedro,
question
I
Yeah,
think
before.
yeah.
no, no,
Go ahead.
just a comment about that. I think there is two parts of the specification, right? When we create specifications, uh, at least here we found out that for each our service, we need to have an spec. It's not a spec. We call it rules, like since the beginning. Corso create this name long ago, right? But today it's everything people call Claude.md. You put it inside
Hmm.
the repo, right? What this guy does is exactly saying what are the standards that this repo is following, right? And then we have a product that knows what the standards it must follow. It standards in terms of architecture, in terms of stack, in terms of way, design or style, testing style, whatever, right? So now this is something that is not that's not feature wise, right? It's kind of what it is, and
It's a
how you
higher.
need
It's a project
high
wise, right?
level.
Higher
Exactly, it's
level.
project wise. It's high level what this project is. This guy is always there.
Hmm.
That's why we always call it context engineering, because
Yeah.
LLM needs to know the context, and this is part of the context. After that, this is something that stays with your repo and will never leave there. It should be always evolving. Okay, and then we have the specs for features. Specs for features already knows that you are using that kind of high level spec, and then puts new features and do some stuff or create tables or do whatever it needs to do, right? So,
Yeah,
and that's the difference here.
Let me just put an
that's really.
analogy on what you just mentioned,
Mhm.
Pedro. Imagine, guys, that you're building a house. You're going to build a house. What Pedro just mentioned, the high level specs, it's will be your house done of bricks or will we be done off a container? And how will be the roof of this house? Is this a first floor house or a two-floor house? Which materials are you gonna use in the house? This would be the high level specifications of the house. Will be this have a heating system or not? And then the features that he just mentioned would be how many rooms will have this house, how many windows, and how much furniture you will put into that house. So it's specifying the different nuances of the software. So you have a specification of the stacks, technology will be Java, which version, and the Spring, and so on. And then you move with the features. And that these first specs, like Pedro just mentioned, they don't change if you're gonna build a Java project with Spring. These specs is kind of permanent. You can update versions after time in time for newer projects. For older projects, you need to handle that carefully. I'm not sure about that, but I believe that the most living article in spec-driven development would be the features file, right? That's the idea. Just to illustrate about what you comment, Pedro.
And a very important. I don't know, Luis. You're making a face that you want to say something, or I can start saying. Yeah.
Go
You
on,
can
Luis.
say first. I have a question, but I can make the question.
Okay.
So, like,
but so but a very important thing that makes actually for me, at least at my point of view, that makes spec-driven development very powerful, it is these specifications that Pedro mentioned, that is higher level. Because what I see here that is very interesting is that you start to document the behavior and the practices that your team actually follow, and you're passing it through to the agent. And this starts to become powerful. But because every time I do have some new joiner here on the team, we have to stop someone to teach him everything that we do follow. Oh, we do this because of this and that, and every time we forget something, and the new joiner just discovered later on, and sometimes too late. And it does break the pattern, break the standard that we at some point we did agreed, and having it documented into your higher level specification, and not just and it's not just technical, the behavior that you want to follow, the pattern. So that is more, that goes further than just the stack or the technology stacks. That I feel I see this happening, that the agent actually, oh no, you can't do that because of this and that, and start to answer to teach the developer, because there is a rule that we wrote on this higher level document. And that's make things that's shine it in my eyes. uh, GitHub Copilot, actually not GitHub Copilot, I think the spec kit, GitHub spec kit, calls it the constitution markdown, where you do actually call what everyone should be following, but you can call it anything you would like to do. Go ahead, Pedro.
Great.
Yeah, just one example. One example. We are using here Coder Rabbits as well, like for code review. Code Rabbits is very good. It has like very strong ways to execute code review, even though you are like using Cloud Code to call code reviews, and those are everything we want to do. It's very strong. So when we get, it's interesting. Sometimes it gets some attention, and then it looks, and then it says, "Oh, this is not correct because in your rules it states that you cannot call a repository layer from your controller layer." Just having an example here, okay, or something similar, right? Or in this test method, you should not mock this layer here because this method should blah, blah, blah. It sometimes it gets to this point, and then I look say, oh, where this rule is. Of course, this rule is in our rules, or sometimes it mostly in our rules, but sometimes it just finds the rule somewhere in the code, like being executed, right? So again, most of the times it's a written rule, and then we can check, we can discuss with the agent if you're going to follow this written rule or not, right? Because you send that code and for some reason you want to do that thing, right? But
And it's
that's
not
very
written in the
interesting.
stone, right? It's not really
Yeah,
written in the stone. You can evolve this your team constitution or any
yeah.
pattern that you agreed.
But you can imagine someone new in your team
Yeah,
that suddenly sends a PR and sees this. So it's not someone;
super
it's just an
support.
agent.
Yeah,
Yeah, just a support agent saying, "Oh, look at this. You're good with it." You know. So this is very powerful. I've seen my interns here; they start getting productive much earlier now. And I've seen all the now that the PRs they are sending is much more mature. And then we said, oh, what is more mature here? Is the intern? No, it's the evolving understanding of that code that interns are getting because of the AI agents that are helping them, right? So, of course, we have another quite a different discussion about learning here, but when we look at the results, it's getting very good results. And sorry, but I've seen lots of other questions from Bruno here.
Yeah,
okay.
let's go. Let's go
Can,
on through that. The subject is so interesting here. We have
can I
here,
ask first?
yeah,
Because
you
I'm really glad that Hugo commented first, because his comment was resonates with the question that I was prepared to ask in that
oh,
time.
really?
Hugo, my question was, how does spec-driven development change the role of the developer? Do you think, for example, we are becoming more like intent designers than coders?
Great question, Luis.
Great question.
And I
And
think you
yeah, of course,
pre-answered in your
writing.
comment.
Yeah, writing code. I think it's less about writing code. You need to know understand the intention, the purpose of that feature, and that's way more powerful. We always I always try to make our developers to don't just blindly follow start implementing stuff. You have to understand what is why it is what is it is solving for our users, and sometimes what is written here doesn't make sense, and you have to figure out. And now they have the AI to write a code, so they have to stop and think first what they need to do, what they are actually trying to do. And yeah, I feel like this a powerful, but doesn't mean that on the other hand doesn't mean that you don't need, at least for me, and until now people still need to understand, at least on my team, people still need to understand how to code and to validate, to review, to validate if the implementation makes sense, if the test is enough, it's good enough. So it's a mix, but they have a way more powerful tool than we had in the past. Even for writing the test for their own code, they can ask how to, I need to test it, I need to test that, and it can help you, support you. And of course, it also depends on your level of maturity on the agent, the coding agent instructions that you build with the constitution. So uh, as more you are specific with what how you want it to be done, I feel better results. I see better results than a very generic. Oh, write a clean code, and that's not good enough.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, Hugo, engineers, developers should continue learning frameworks, how to code, so they can question what AI is generating. They need to learn these new
They
tools
have this
to
judgment.
accelerate.
The
but
fundamentals.
the fundamentals and how what is to question what is being done and to test and to validate
Yeah.
the output, right?
Personally, I have I need to say that I believe that there are categories of solutions. Probably there are a lot of solutions that you don't need to be an engineer to have a software solution, and that's good enough for you to solve your problem. There are very like I said before, I see a lovable solution that is to track all the projects they have in the company, and it was amazingly built and amazingly working very well, and you have the information, and I'm pretty sure the person that built it does not worry about validating the code behind, because they know that it's getting the correct data source, and they are just making the dashboard for her. So yeah, that's different use cases. There are use cases where you don't need to be you don't need a software engineer anymore to be able to deliver some value. There are many others that still need, because still a huge project, an enterprise level, that you need some way more mature and way more secure security concerns, and then you need professionals that can deal with that. So I think they emerged a new category that the current software engineers don't even bother to build that solution, because they don't have time, or they don't have uh, no one will pay for their time to to build that. And now people that is not software engineers can do themselves, and that's powerful for and I think it's the interesting part from AI, the good part of AI, right? uh, they
Yeah,
they empowered some people that was constrained because they don't have money to pay some software engineer to make some website for them, and now they can do it.
yeah, that's
Uh,
amazing. That's amazing. Let's just go take a look here on the comments. Bruno sent us some comments a while ago. Elon Musk said earlier this year that AI will generate optimized binaries directly by the end of 2026, with no need for programming languages. This is what spec-driven development is focused on. I Well, I don't think so. You want to answer it, Hugo
oh,
or Pedro?
I Yeah, I think I can go with that. At least, of course, it's personal. At least for what we have until now, I believe we still need some way to validate, to audit many of these systems that we do create. Like I said, there's a categories of use cases, and there are systems that is important and that still need to be validated, to be not just validated, to be audited, to understand what's going on behind, and that needs to be someone that can be that should be a specialist that can do that, because yeah, imagine the AI generating some code, and no one knows, a black box that no one knows how it works. And I think we do lots of people lots of system that is trapped on this kind of solutions, right? That someone wrote it, no one understand anymore what had been done, no documentation,
Yes.
so you can't figure out, and that's a existing scenario from long time, right? And they
Yeah.
still exist. Maybe we can run AI to understand what is going on behind, but yeah, so someone have to validate what they say, read and validate what is going on. I think that's still necessary in the
Yeah.
real world applications. Go
I
ahead.
believe that Bruno even answered his own comments on his with the his opinion. He don't believe this possible and in any way reasonable. And go ahead, Pedro. I believe you want to comment on these subjects as well.
Uh, yeah, when we talk about the spec driven, the way the companies are doing today, it's not what we're mentioning. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not like is bypassing the programming languages. Okay, but when we think about that third example there in the blogs,
Yeah,
we can
looks like
we
that.
may, yeah, looks like that, but it can be even like generating something in a language that you don't touch, and then it's turned into assembly. uh what I think in this case is someone will gonna create that, like an LLM that just generate bytecode.
Hmm.
Okay, someone is gonna do that. If it's going to be good enough, just I don't know if it's the time will say, or if the needs of the market will say, right? Because when we think about in terms of confidence we do have in in code agents today, it's much easier to say that the code agent is doing right when you look at the code that you can understand. If you look at some list of bytecode that nobody is able to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's maybe possible, but probably not practical, right? Or even they will create something that will say, okay, you will not look at this code. I will use LLM will say, I use this code just to generate my byte code or my compiled code here. Just and you don't need to worry about it. It maybe some of that third way you say, but I won't believe it. So because then what's gonna happen is that a spec will become your code,
Yeah,
right?
you need
Yeah.
to write anyway.
And you're gonna need to write anyway, and then you're gonna ask the AI to write that spec for you, and then in downstream the pipeline, this spec we're going to create some code. So well,
Yeah.
currently it's not what spec-driven developers mention. Okay,
Means
we're
forever. Yeah.
using,
No.
yeah, we use that for creating to spec features and writing code, so we can inspect and say if it's okay.
Yeah.
I have
It's
some more
different.
thoughts, but let's go forward so we can, if that's some time we can discuss, we can talk a bit about that. I want to deep dive about that.
Great, great. Just a last one from
Yeah.
Bruno. I believe it's about what we're talking here better. Do you guys think the specification will go into all details? Yes, I think so. But I can see the part of the architecture, etc. But about the interface, data visualization, this has a level of creativity. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's very different on what you are for what you are going to use your specification. And even if you are making a very good specification, you still need to take into account that an AI, this component in your architecture, this is a non-deterministic part of it. So you cannot, every time you are generating code from a specification, let's say, it's going to be something different. And here I would add some more thing to it, because it's also, in my experience, it's dependent on the architecture, or it's dependent on what kind of language you are using. If you are going to make a specification, like if I am developing Java, this is a kind of specification I can quite well describe what I am going to use. If it's even more different if I am making some platform engineering with Terraform, because I might have less context, less examples, so it might be different what's going to be the output. And with data visualization, it's even more complicated in my experience, because it's very dependent on what kind of language library you are going to use. Can you describe it very precisely? specify what you are going to do, probably it's going to be very difficult. There are languages where you just cannot describe it very well what's going to be the output, because the library is very different from the UI, the user interface, how it will look like. There are libraries where you can have some specific help, because visualization libraries might have schemas, and in that case, it can also help if you add that schema to the specification, generate more deterministic result. But I think there it's a very complicated topic. So it's very complicated if you are using it for software, very different if you are using it for software development or like data visualization. So depending on the
Great.
topic.
Great.
Well, for me, the level of detail is the same as the size of the microservices. I think you need to figure out the best fit for you or for the task. What I've been doing is this is for my practice here. It's not a standard, but like Pedro said, the when we write a specification, we do use AI for that, and then I use AI to help me. Okay, but I need to do this, put in this template, and think about some other edge cases for me. And it degenerate, and I do delete some lines that doesn't make sense anymore, and doesn't make sense, and some make sense, and I keep that, or some I have to update the specification and then implement it. But yeah, I think the level of it depends a lot, and of course visualizations, like Chila said, it's depending on the use case, depending on the requirements, might be very complex and might be difficult to explain. I know, because I know some visualizations that was so complex that we have to use canvas inside the application, and then it gives the interaction for the user. I don't see that being able to be explained only with the specification and then the AI generating. I don't know. I haven't tried, but I think it will be a immense work just to create a specification for that kind of visualization. I
Yeah.
think it depends a
Maybe
lot.
as a starting point, right? And then you move from that template to enhance it, even on code or on specification. But maybe the specification becomes so complex that will be easier to put your hands into the code directly. Maybe.
Yes, I think it would be need a lot of iterations
Yeah.
to get it right. So
Yeah. Well, I going back to the blog post. I try to make it at least for my for where I did experimented, tried the spec driven development. I try to keep it compact and easy to read. I think if there's lots of words, a huge specification, that's the same as letting the AI write everything, because anyone would read that. I don't know if it does make sense, if it does have the right thing written there. So one thing that is have been useful for me, it is keep things compact and easy to read for humans. So we don't generate this big text that looks like a AI slop for me. We won't go reading all of that text, and won't make sense to have it on specification if no one will read that. So that's a thing that I learned by doing, and I think that's a very important thing. In the first moment I tried it, it is weird, because as a developer, you only specify and let the AI write the code. It's kind of frustrating for me, at least, and a weird a life cycle, development life cycle. But as I could mature the instructions of the agent, how I wanted to write the code, how I some standard that I usually follow it started to fit better and feel better. Okay, that's the way I probably would write, or better than I would. And that has been a good thing, for good experience for me. And yeah, how it looks like, it's lots of markdown files. You have your coding agent. When we say coding agent, it's the GitHub Copilot, it's the Cloud Code, your cursor, or codecs. So any of these coding agents, they will read some of the markdowns that you specify, and you keep the specification as markdown as well on another place, and then you ask the agent to, okay, read this specification and implement it. Read this specification and implement it. Okay, so that's the idea behind it. For tools, this blog mentions 3 tools. It is Kiro, Spec-It, and Tesso. That's interesting thing. It changed a lot the way you do actually work with spec-driven development. Hero is an entire IDE that will support you with the spec-driven development. Spec-It, on the other hand, it's a tool. It's a plugin that you can install on the Visual Studio Code, and then it will generate some. It will give you some tools that you can call inside the GitHub Copilot, for example. So you can spec /spec, and then write the specification that you want to create or generate. And that's more decoupled solution. And Tesla, I couldn't try it out, but beside that, I find also the BMAD method. It's something similar to the Spec-Kit. It's a tool that you can actually ask to write the specification and implement it, and so on. What else? OpenSpec. It is a open source project that tries to specify some standards for the specification spec-driven development. But in the end, I myself actually prefer to do only with the model, with the coding agent, without using any of those tools. In the end, it's natural language. You just need to specify some standards. I want the template to be to follow this template. The specifications to follow this template, and the project is this. The architecture, the stack is that, and so you can write a spec and ask to implement. So I made a example here. It is a small example just to make it more tangible for everyone. Let me share the other screen. So, oops, this one. So this is my visual. This is anti-gravity actually. Why I'm using anti-gravity? Because I only have Gemini subscription. Yeah, I can't pay $20 for every provider. Let me just go tune in. Okay, so things that I think it's interesting here. If you want to go all raw native, I totally recommend you to follow the agents markdown. It's a standard. I forgot to mention to share it here, but it's important. Agents MD, it's just a standard, not the standard. Yeah, I can say standard now, because every coding agent like GitHub Copilot, Cloud Code, Codex, and Cursor, they have their own agent MD-like file in their own place in their in their own folder that is DOS copilot and so on. And instead of having to keep, if you like me, sometimes you switch the agent coding agent. You don't want to keep lots of the same file in different places. You want to keep a single one. You want to write it once and be working in everywhere. So agentmd is that. It's a where you can actually give the instructions right here on the agentmd, and all these modern coding agents already read these agents and try to find this agent MD, and if it encounters agent MD, it will use it as an instruction for your coding. And let's come back here. Yeah. So one thing it's important is to create the agent MD. It is the file where you do actually customize the agent behavior. It's where you do put the things that we mentioned before, the high level, the behavior, the constitution, and I usually separate the files, some files, just for organization, right? Just to not bloat everything here on agentmd. So what I do, I make the project description on project markdown. This is just to follow the example in the blog post, right? The architecture on architecture markdown, some skills, if you, it is like an extension for the agent on the skills folder. And I ask it to agents, write modular testable code, prioritize readability and maintainability, keep change minimal, and focus on the task at hand. This is a very short version. We can you can go further in the agents MD. I do use that code. They are way bigger than that, longer than that, but it's good enough. And oh, sorry. I think, are you hearing my boy? Just a minute.
Yeah.
Give you support.
Yeah. Well, you want to comment about anything on that, Pedro or Thiago, Chila? 'Cause I understand that what we are saying here would be the pillars of what we're talking, right? We're giving the agents the context, where the rules are, um, what he should follow for the project, and this seems to be the very will not say standard like um, Hugo mentioned, but the agent's AMD seems to be that first standard that would be used across any model, right? You can use with Gemini, with Cloud Code, with on Cursor, maybe.
Yeah, agent.md is something that is standardized now. Of
Mhm.
course, every provider wants to create their own their own specifications, right? And make their own the standard. But so currently we have cloud.med, we have gemini.med, we have like cursor rules, so everyone has his own. But agents.med is the way people create it. No, this will be the standard
For everyone.
file for everybody who uses, and then from this guy you can do whatever you want, like you was showing here.
Yeah,
And
and then it follow the same standard, right? In no, if it's Cursor or Gemini MD would be the same that we're seeing here.
oh, actually, agents MD, they have different things. They have more things, like you can specify the commands and other things. We can see in the website here.
Mm-hmm.
So set up commands, code style. I haven't put everything here just to not make it too long and keep it easy to follow. But yeah, you can write everything because everything is text. So you just need to explain what you are aiming for, or how do you want the agent to behave or follow. But if you put here, you write banana everywhere, it will start, the agent will start writing banana everywhere. Okay, so yeah, it depends on what you put here. All depends on what you put here in this file. And yeah, it is the entry point. So and if any instruction that you want to share with the agent, it's start from here. And then, like I said, the architecture markdown and the project markdown. Architecture is, I keep the stack here. So JDK 21, Spring Boot 4, Spring Data, local storage. That's for and LangChain 4J. That's for this proof of concept. And the system, the project, it's an overview of the system. So it's a note taker that will capture audio from the meetings. And yeah, there's some other observation descriptions here. And then I don't know, Pedro, did you raise your hand? Sorry, I think I no. Okay, sorry. So after you have the agents MD with with bare minimum description of how you want it to behave, other thing that I created to help me is a skill to write the spec. So here, what is a skill? It's a way to extend your agent to with some capabilities or some extra instructions, right? So it's not that every time it will read the skills and will read all this text. Uh, Otherwise, it will um, uh, 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 use all your
Inflate.
tokens. Yeah, and use all your tokens. So, but it will selectively use the skill when the description matches what you are asking for. So every time I do ask write specification or something similar, it will understand. So I need to read this spec and try to do what it's instructed here. So the instruction analyze the given problem requirements, ensure understand design by reading architecture and project, uh, use compact spec templates, and save generated file markdown at agent specs, and so on, and wait user approval, record modification, etc. etc. So here's a template that I mentioned. So once you have written the template somewhere, the agent starts to use it and start to write following it. So it does written these specs following that template. The AI transcription and summarization, integrated LangChain 4J, orchestrated, blah, blah, blah. And this is have to be short enough. For me, the most important part is have to be short enough so a human can read it without being lost, without being bored. Otherwise, it will be only a forgotten documentation. So and being oh being I haven't installed it. Being Markdown, you can have the preview the file, so you can read it in a nice visualization as well. So
You
every
can click it. You can click in the right top.
oh,
The
thank you. It's V,
yes.
Shift V. Yeah. I'm using with the Visual Studio Code, so and it haven't opened the previewer I usually use, but here, yeah. Thank you, Pedro.
No problem.
So AI transcript summarization, objective, requirement constraints, architecture design approach, implementation step, open questions. So you can write anything here on the specification as far as you feel it needs to be to cover what you need to do. Here it's an example I created quickly from the write spec, a compact template here. But on the example that I do use, I also asked to create some test cases. So I also validate by viewing the test cases, and yeah. So that's things that we do. I do usually make it. So
And how do you
once we
run
have,
it, Hugo? How do you run that
yeah, cool.
to use
So
this context?
do which one? This context?
Yeah, every context. You define the architecture, the project, and the right spec. So, how do you use all these contexts you have defined to generate these specs you just showed us?
Excellent. So once you have the agent MD pointing to these files, uh, the agent here, for example, this anti-gravity agent, it is already using these, at least the agent's markdown, project, and architecture. So if
Hmm.
I ask it, what is
You don't
the
need to
uh,
configure anything else. You
anything
just
else,
have
just
to have
created the
the
markdown.
agents empty. Great.
Yeah, exactly. What is the stack of the project? Oh,
Every.
I don't know why I don't know if I run out of
Yeah. Have you paid
servers
the
out.
subscription?
I pay every month. So our servers experience high traffic right now. That's one thing I run it before. It's the model unavailability. But yeah, okay. Cloud, it's answer. I don't know.
Clouds.
Gemini is having some trouble. Yeah. Okay. So it's using here, and it. Let's see what it made. Uh, Here. Worker for thought for 1 second. Let me check the architecture markdown and answer user question about the project stack and analyze it and PON and README, and then reading here language Java 21, Spring Boot, a Vaadin, Spring Data. I was trying Vaadin here. And it just pointed that README is wrong. It's 25 here. Yeah, I changed it later, so I have to ask to update there. Database, production, Postgre, runtime embedded, HSQL, local file storage, and so on, and LangChain4j for the API. Yeah. So it already read it, and let's say I want to write a new specification. So write new spec to okay to how do I say, to display the recorded audios in the view. And that's also good because by shifting here to Cloud Sonnet, you can see that both agent or both models are actually it's more about the agents, but you can change the model without problem. Okay.
Yeah.
It just analyze the agent specs, write spec, and
Each one has
then
its own nuances, right? They tend to
yeah,
differ, to generate a little bit different from one to another.
yeah.
And just a question, Hugo.
Mhm.
What is the difference from this anti-gravity that you're using to cursor, as example?
I haven't much experience with Cursor, but it's pretty similar. I know that there's
Hmm?
something like this VS Code. I think Cursor also VS Code fork,
Yes,
right?
yes. It's also VS Code.
Yeah, and and yeah, it's a chat. They have a bit better here way to manage the tasks. I remember a friend of mine using it, but yeah, it's a IDE, the entire IDE projected to these agent coding agents. Um, I've been using more also Cloud Code on the command line interface, and that's when I don't have to see much the project to enter the files on. I just want to generate the project for example, and then it's better because you do it's like the command line interface have higher um, um, context, not context. It's not just the code, the IDE. It's something outside, something bigger. So I feel like more freedom. from command line interface. Interesting here. Let's see
Sorry
what it wrote.
to use which one? To use the Gemini
Sorry.
CLI?
No, I use the Cloud Code
The cloud code.
command line. Yeah, and GitHub Copilot for with VS Code for the work, both for
Okay,
work. Yeah,
got it.
so it's just reading the recorded audio list view. Let's see. It display the list of previously recorded meetings. Yeah, directly within the main view, querying metadata from the meeting repository. Cool. What we must do: load meeting records from the database, view initialization, show it meeting title, record the date. So short enough to say, okay, it's exactly what I want. Serve the audio file, downloadable, streamable. I haven't specified neither of these, but it figured out that I would like it downloadable. Refresh the list automatically after successful stop and upload. Cool. So I haven't went. I didn't need to go on this extreme detail. It just figured out from the request I made that is running inspect display recorded audios in the view, and most of them are correct for me. So it's exactly what I was looking after. Must use varying blah blah blah. So there's some constraints. Architecture design approach. Let's see here, grid meeting. I'm not very familiar with the varying components. I just used it to learn something new. Okay. Streaming endpoint and create a streaming endpoint. Cool. And streams it as WebM. Okay. Stream resource input stream. Okay. Okay. Prefer for simplicity in POC. Okay. Directly in the server side. Okay.
Yeah. In practice, Hugo, everything that we are doing here right now and all these specs will be the pillars of the software that we will generate in the future, right? Because you're working
Exactly.
in the specification of each element of the service that you want to create. In this case, is this recording.
Exactly. So here I would like to implement recorded audio list view spec. And this is the loop, right? It's the write the specification as implement it. If it's all okay, if it's what you are looking after, I have to implement. Some people do further, right? It do not just the specification. It will ask you to create the specification, the implementation plan from the specification before going to implement it. All. But as far as I've been using here, I haven't seen much necessary to go through that. Okay, specification. I just miss here the test, but okay. I forgot to put it here, but it's just that. Write the specification. Okay, specification is correct. It is what I was in mind. So implement it and start implementing it and making the changes. And we can follow the changes on the GitHub, on the Git changes here. So that's the workflow that I've been trying here and being I've been happy with the satisfied with the workflow. One thing is very important: you need a good internet connection. I had some issues with remote because I was on the phone, and that's terrible because on the phone uploads is very bad, and it does upload a lot of things, a lot of text, right? It does uploads a lot of content here. So yeah, that can kill your working loop, and yeah, that's it. That was the thing I wish to. I just exceeded our time, but that was what I wish to show here. It's implementing.
Yeah,
Let's see if it
that's
finishes here.
great. That's great. You mentioned the
Yeah, that's great.
implementation plan. When I was
Yeah.
playing with Juni first time, I was doing the implementation plan. I also asked the Juni to generate a step by step task list in the implementation plan and to tick each list in the markdown when it was finished. So that way I could see what the agent has implemented and what not. Because when I tried that last year, but it's awesome to see these in action, in a different agent. Now you just showed with cloud. Here on the in another IDE I've tried mostly with Jimmy, with Juni, and it's great. I can see that this specification is getting more and more detailed, right? You're giving more and more context. So the more context you have, you generate, you instruct the model better to get a better output.
Cool. and yeah, thanks, Igor. And I think it's interesting here too. I tried to run it and it failed because it couldn't find the HTML.
Something.
Yeah, the class something, and that's why we still need some developer behind, a software engineer
Yes.
behind to debug and say, okay, that's.
Ask
Sometimes
him
I
to
will
fix
ask you
it.
to. Yeah, I will ask you
Ask
to
him to
fix it,
fix.
of course.
That's it.
Yeah, but it will be running over these over the this workflow, right? Let me just
Yeah,
write out.
I got
I think
some
that,
big issues with that. Go on, Pedro. Go on.
yeah, let's just talk exactly about this, because one of the things that I realize, when we have a spec good enough, you can say to you don't need to do what you're doing.
I can just
You
fix
just
the
say,
code.
yeah, you just say, run it, fix any issues, make it run.
Yeah.
You know, because
Fix any
if you have
issues.
an spec good enough, you can say, go for it, execute the
Hmm.
tests,
Execute the
run the
test. Yeah.
code, run everything,
Yep.
make sure when you finish it, everything must be working.
Must be
You know,
running. Right. Yep.
must be running. So then it starts cooking, like it executes and to run a Maven clean install, and then it's run Maven test, and then
Yep. Yep.
And sometimes it's entering this
So
loop, right, automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but,
was not very
but
used
of
with
course it
anti-gravity, but yeah, that's good. That's it. Go ahead.
yeah, the cloud code does that like in
Mhm.
a much easier way, but we can do it in
Yeah,
anyone. But of
yeah.
course, but we need to put that as part of the context, right? Oh, you're implementing now. So you need to make sure that all tests pass. You need
Hmm.
to follow this over here,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
go for it and and forget about
Yeah.
it. Not
And
forget about
forget
for
about it.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
With backend, I had
yeah.
great results. Not so much with front end.
Front end,
Front
yes.
end is stuck a lot on the loop. But back end, he was able to manage much better what's going on, run the test, something is failing, I use the wrong version, and then it changes automatically and try it again until it runs.
Exactly. It's gonna find eventually, but of course,
Yeah.
that's
Or your credits run out before
before. Yeah,
one
yeah.
one or two.
one of the two.
Looks like.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I
Yeah.
don't know
All
why.
right.
I think this is a Google Gemini. I don't know. It looks like oh, it changes something here. What changed here?
Mhm.
Component for okay. I don't know if
Accept
it does
all.
work yet.
Go
Okay.
YOLO.
Yeah.
Go your
In,
yeah. It's a
in,
POC.
in Juni, you have the brave mode. You just tell
Brave
him,
mode.
do it, do it.
Yeah.
You don't know what it
Creative
does,
names. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Cloud Code has had the dangerous skip permissions. Dangerous skip permission it was before. Now you can enable auto mode. Auto
Auto
mode
mode.
is a much better, or
Hmm.
like a much safer way to do the same, but of course not safe, right? And you definitely still need to be careful But I do think we are like too much out of our time, man.
Yes. Still have some issue here. I think with the HSQL, but yeah, okay. But I think the important thing is the workflow. So yep, I that's the example. And still, you can see, still need someone to keep understanding what's going on, even with the help of the AI. Much easier with AI, but still need someone, yeah, a developer in the loop. Cool. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's
Well,
to
I
great.
hope you
heads up,
enjoyed. Go
uh,
ahead.
Igor shared at the beginning that using now spec-driven development, we will avoid totally the go horse style
Go horse.
because now we need the specification, and not only that, also the tests, right? Because if you want
Mhm.
to do many iterations, we will need to have a really good tests.
Yeah.
So now we are going to maybe a more safe place where you have the specifications, the details, and well done tests. So yeah,
Yeah. And it
Unit tests, integration tests, and if
maybe
you
a
have
good
end-to-end
end.
tests,
they
so
really
you can
help to generate
go
those as
for
well.
all it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can kind of course, that's the goal of the test. You can protect your code for future changes.
Oh,
Things that
Oh, okay.
may
May I say something that I did today? We created a command that is a loop. That's what I said. Oh, we are discussing a bug in a thread Slack, and then I said, okay, because we saw, oh, there is Datadog here, something happening, blah blah blah, lots of stuff. And then I said, okay, I said to Cloud Code, look at this thread, get all the information, the Jira ticket, Datadog, amplitude, everything you want. Find where the bug is. Create a test first to show the bug, fix it, show that the test was passing, run everything, create a PR, wait to the PR for the pipeline to run, get everything else. If you have any issues, fix it again, handle all the commits for the code rabbit, and then you come back to me. It did after an hour,
Wow.
right? And execute everything that I was talking, I was telling you. I saw that, and then I look at the result. The result was perfect, right? So Code Rabbit was like discussing. He discussed it with Code Rabbit something, and then I look at it and said, "Okay, that's it. Oh, merge it."
Approved.
Right?
Great. The more context you give it, the better output you have. That's
Yeah, it
the
happened
conclusion
today.
that I have. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, just want to say hi to FH Gom Stack. Hi there. Yeah, great to have you here. We've talked a lot about this, and that's not the future, that's the present of software development. So we strongly recommend you and anyone that is joining us right now to watch we have just talked in the replay here, what we have just showed with Hugo's presentation here about the spec-driven development. And I'm pretty sure that's a great content that will help every software developer to stay ahead on his career, because that's what is happening right now, guys. We need to embrace AI in your workflow. Spec driven development is here to stay. AI are here to stay. And that's a tool that we need to have in our toolbox to help us to speed up things. And companies are using that and more. And you should use that as well for your own projects and for your work. And yeah,
lastly, yeah, just before we finish, I think we have already the next topic regarding to harness engineering. Luis shared for me from Loyani Groner. She write about harness
yes.
engineering, and I think it's really connected a lot with about what we talk here. And yeah, let's discuss on the next session. If you enjoyed this one, stay tuned for the next one. Let's let's talk. Let's go deep dive into other topics regarding to this around it.
Mhm.
So I think that's
Awesome.
it.
Looking forward for it. Great, guys. It was a pleasure. Great subject. Great talk today. I hope that you guys are watching us. You've also enjoyed and learned a lot today. I did. Thank you guys for presenting this today, Hugo, Pedro, and thanks for our great team here with Tiago and Sila, and also Luis that needed to left a little bit earlier. And looking forward to the next session here on the Out of the Box Developer. Any final words, guys, you want to give about this subject and today's session?
Well, yeah, be adaptive for innovations. It's really interesting to work this new way. But yeah, you have to be open.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, I found it very entertaining, Hugo. So thank you very much for showing all this. And maybe
Thanks.
security would be also a topic at a later time,
Yeah.
not now. It's already too late, but yeah.
Yeah, just a
I
final word.
just
I think now it's more important than never to keep updated. So subscribe somewhere here and keep tuned and hit the like button, the other buttons, so you can watch the next session and keep updated.
also hype
Yeah.
the video. There's a new feature on
Can you
YouTube
put
to
up?
hype the video so it can reach more people and share that with your friends as well. Pedro,
Yeah,
final
let's do
words?
it. Yeah, let's embrace the innovation. The Yugo's son is already there. You see, he's already here with us. He's
Yeah,
starting early. We need to start early as well. Yeah.
exactly. He was very interactive at the beginning of the session. If you missed that, go on the replay on the start of the session. I was missing more interaction from him lately, now in the end of the session, but it was amazing to be with you guys here. Also,
Cool.
Samuel is thanking you, Hugo.
Thanks, Samuel.
Yeah, for sure. Encourage using Spec-It. Great.
Cool.
Great, guys. See you in the next session. Take
See
care.
you. Bye
Always a
bye.
See you.
pleasure.
Bye.
Bye bye.